What's up, everybody? My name is Scott Waters, and welcome to Left Metal. It's time for a rock metal update. That's right, it's time for Rock Metal Update, but this is going to be a little different. I went to Record Store Day in California this year. I've actually never gone to a record store on Record Store Day before, ever. I just don't care about the crowds. I don't care, you know. Frankly, where I live, there's not a whole lot of record stores anyhow that even are involved in that. So, you know, in the Record Store Day thing. So I just haven't done it, and I have a good friend who lives in California. His name is Bill Bafford. I've mentioned him many times before, and he usually gets me what I need, and you know, that's cool because there are always something I want to get from those record store days. But this year I had to go out there at this time anyhow because I was going to see a Judas Priest concert. So before I get into what I got from there, we went to see that concert, and it was Black Star Riders, and this is a brand new vinyl to my collection. I've had this on CD. You probably saw it in my top albums of last year. But after seeing them live, I had to grab the vinyl on this one. So just fantastic. You know, hard rock, heavy metal, whatever you want to call it. Has a lot of that Thin Lizzy sound. Scott Gorham is obviously the guy behind the guitar sound, and they still have that, you know, Irish folk mixed in with the heavy metal and the dual guitars, and it sounds a bit like Thin Lizzy, but it's not a Thin Lizzy clone. It's their own band. They have their own sound. When they played almost all original songs from their 3 albums, and they also played Jailbreak by Thin Lizzy, and I just was having a blast. The sound was a little muddy for them, which was a little disappointing. The sound got better as the night went on, and which is kind of irritating. The sound should be great for all the bands. There's no reason why the opening band should have not as good a sound as the closing band. But regardless, they were still great. I really enjoyed it. I was standing the entire time. I was singing along to songs, whipping my hair. I was just having such a great time. And then next up was Saxon. This is their new album, Thunderbolt, and I have showed this one before. But they were on touring for this album, and they played a bunch of songs from this album. They played Thunderbolt, as I recall. I know they played Rock and Roll, which is a tribute song to Lemmy and Motorhead. Fantastic. Plus, you know, they played a lot of classic stuff from their past years. You know, all the classic Denim and Leather, and you know, bands played on, and I don't know what else was there. Let's see, Princess of the Night, of course. But yeah, Strong Arm of the Law. They were fantastic. Biff just was on cue. He sounded great. He looked great. At one point in the show, somebody from the front row, the first, I don't know, 10 rows were open seating, or open area. There was no seating, so everybody was just kind of shoved up against the stage. And frankly, I don't care about doing that anymore. But somebody from that front area handed up his denim vest with all the patches and stuff on it, and wanted Biff to sign it from stage. So Biff grabbed the vest, put it on, and wore it for at least a song, if not 2, which was cool. And then at the end of that song, between songs, he I don't know where he got the pen from. He had a magic marker. He signed the jacket and handed it back to the guy, which I thought was really cool. You know, most bands would have just been like, "Leave me alone, I'm performing," you know, and I understand that. But that he did that, I just thought it was really cool. And then finally, this is another new one. I've actually had this one since it came out. I pre-ordered this, I just haven't shown it on video yet. Judas Priest played, and man, they were fantastic. Yeah, it's a little different. We're missing KK, you know, we're missing Glenn for most of the show. He did come out for the last 3 songs, but these guys are just keeping the music alive. And they were tight. They were fantastic. They sounded good. Rob sounded great. I mean, just from the beginning, man. They opened up with a song off this album. Which one was it? It's the first one. Firepower? Yeah, Firepower. They played Lightning Strikes. Firepower, I believe, went right into... and I can't remember what song it was. Anyhow, it doesn't matter. It was just a nice mix of old and new. A lot of fast songs. Right up until the end. When Glenn Tipton came out to join the band, they played a lot of the slower songs. They played Metal Gods. What else did they play while he was up? Was it Metal Gods? Breaking the Law and Living After Midnight, I think were three to play with him. And these are slower, mid-paced songs, and you could see that Glenn was struggling. But, you know, it was awesome to see him. Again, I felt like a 16-year-old. I saw Judas Priest for the first time when I was a teenager. Saw him on the Defenders of the Faith tour. Saw him twice actually on that tour. I believe Great White was opening for him. So I felt like that again. It was just so awesome. You know, I felt like I still had a full head of hair. I was headbanging. I was playing air guitar. I just didn't care if I looked like the fool. I was just enjoying it, singing along. You know, it was just awesome. So that made the trip. However, I was also really stoked and glad that we did a record store day. It's definitely a different experience. For me, I like going into record stores and digging. If the store's empty, found me, you know. I don't care. I just love going through digging. I can dig forever. I like going with friends where you can banter back and forth and talk and show, hey, you got this, hey, you got, you know, that's kind of stuff I like, cool. But this was a very different experience. We went to Canterbury Records in California. I got there about 2 hours before the store opened up, and we were about 20 to 30 people back in line. I'm not exactly sure how many were in front of us. I took a picture of the line in front of us, and I'll put that in right in a second. And then by the time the store opened, the line was down the block. You couldn't even see the end of the line. And I took a picture of that too, so I'll put those two in right here. Yeah, so you can see how long that line was. The thing was, Bill told me most of the time they let in like 20 at a time, so we'd probably be the second group that got in. Not the case. It was madhouse. It was like Walmart on Black Friday. I mean, it was just nuts. The place was packed. You couldn't move. I was literally digging through records like this, and and people were looking over my shoulders trying to see, you know, what I'm digging through. And the guy next to me, I look over him and say, we're getting to know each other pretty close, aren't we? At one point, we're like, I finished my stack, he finished his stack, and we're like, he couldn't move. He's like, I'll go through them again. You look at mine, you go through yours, I'll look at yours. So we did. So I'm looking over here and digging, and he's, oh wait, can I have that? Oh wait, can I see that? So Bill and I Bill went to a separate section of the store, and he's like, we both knew what each other wanted. So he's like, if you find one, grab two. If you see anything that we want, just grab two. If we have 4 of them at the end when we meet together, we'll put some back. So that's what we did. So I ended up getting a lot of what I wanted, a lot of the record store day stuff from that dig. And real quick before I show those, let me show you a picture of what the store looked like. And this was after I got out of the madness, and the line to pay for stuff was now long. Here it is. So there you go. That's, you know, you can kind of see it looks like the 80s again. You know, record stores packed full of people. It was great, but another thing was everybody was real nice. You know, it wasn't like, you know, people like, give me that record, and it wasn't like that. It was like, hey, anybody see? I don't know. There was so many different albums people were looking for. Anybody seen the Led Zeppelin 7-inch single? Yeah, here it is. And somebody would lift it up and, you know, and hand it to them. So it was a nice crowd. Matter of fact, they had a security guard there. And I went over, I was talking to the guy who was just standing there while I was waiting for Bill. And I said, this is crazy. He goes, this is the nicest crowd I've ever seen in my life. He goes, I was just smiling along as I hear people calling out for records and other people holding up their hands with that record in it. And that's the way it was. It was really cool. But it was insanity. But let me show you what I picked up at that store. Again, Canterbury Records. Did not pick up everything that were on our list, but we did find a lot of what was on our list. A little pricey. I think some record store stuff today is overpriced, but it is what it is. If you don't want it, you don't have to buy it, right? And I saved up some money, so I went and bought what I wanted to buy. So, some 7-inch singles. I grabbed the reissue of the Princess of the Night single, Back to Fire in the Sky. I haven't opened this one yet. Yes, I did. I played it. No, I didn't. Maybe I heard it over Bill's. I don't know. Anyhow, this is still sealed. I will open it eventually. But you guys have seen me show 7-inch singles before, and I collect Saxon singles. So this was, you know, one of the first ones I was looking for. And the first stack I went for was the 7-inch singles because I really wanted the Motorhead Heroes 7-inch single, which I didn't end up finding. So I grabbed 2 of those. I grabbed 2 of these. Jimi Hendrix, Manish Boys. Now this is one I didn't even know was on the list. I didn't have it on mine. Bill didn't have it on his. But I saw it, so I grabbed 2, and we both ended up buying one. And then there was just tons of these there. And I grabbed 2, and he grabbed 2, so we ended up putting 2 back. But this is a Led Zeppelin single. Rock and roll with some Sunset Sound mix and Friends Olympus Studios mix. So it's just a cool little single, you know, cool little thing. I don't know. It's if I didn't get this. I am a Led Zeppelin fan, but frankly, the Motorhead and the Saxon one more important to me than the Zeppelin ones. And still, glad I got this. Shame I didn't find the Motorhead. I'm not paying the $40 it's going for on eBay right now. Not for a 7-inch single of a song that is actually on a record. This was a little pricey, but I did grab it. Again, I haven't even opened this one yet. Waiting for the right time, because this is some space rock from Hawkwind, a 2-album set. This is Dark Matters. Yeah, it was a little bit pricey, $29.99 for a 2-album set. I mean, that's not too bad. It seems to be the going rate for vinyl anymore, somewhere between $20 and $30, especially for a double album. It is a gatefold. I would have picked it up regardless, because I'm just a big fan of Hawkwind stuff. I'm not a huge fan of space rock and all that kind of stuff, but for some reason I got into Hawkwind early because of Motorhead, and I just still love Hawkwind. So these are cool. These were pricey, but I wanted them, so I grabbed them. It's going to be a little hard to see, but this is the Celtic Frost Tragic Serenades picture disc, and I do have it in a. It's inside of the the cutout record sleeve, but I have a what are those things called? Those MoFi sleeves inside to keep it from getting all beat up. And I did open this one and play it. 3 songs: Usurper, Jewel Throne, and Return to the Eye. It does have a back print on it like the original record. I thought it was cool. I like picture discs. I know a lot of people don't like them. Their collectability is cool. They don't sound as bad as everybody claims they do, especially more recent pressings, because they've just come so far. And this sounded great to me. I'm thinking about doing a picture disc video in the future, just showing off some of my picture discs. So I don't. If an album comes out in picture disc and regular vinyl, I usually tend to pick up the regular vinyl. Maybe the picture is later if it's something I really want to. But in most cases, I pick up the regular one because I do listen to my records a lot. But I really wanted this, so I grabbed it. As well as this is Creator. I'm going to take this one out of the sleeve because you really can't see this one through the MoFi sleeve at all. So this is Creator. Like I said, it isn't a MoFi sleeve, and it's really tough to see. So here it is. This is behind the mirror, basically a 12-inch single. This is just 2 songs, and then you've got Gangland on the back. And I used to have this in a shaped picture. It looked just like this, except it was a shaped picture disc. So when we saw this one, again, we grabbed 2. I think Bill's the one that actually found this one, and he found 2 and grabbed me one. So yeah, I bought both those picture discs, and glad I did. Like I said, I like picture discs. They're not my favorite thing, but it's rock and roll, it's heavy metal, it's collectible, so I dig them. So there you go. Anyhow, the last one I picked up there, and I only found one of these. No, I found 2 of these. I gave one to Bill and kept one for myself, and I can't remember what it was, $31.95 or $32.90, I don't know, somewhere in that $30 range. 2-album set. It's called Rarities Volume 2. Been looking for Volume 1 forever, since last year, and never did manage to score a copy. Blue vinyl, double album. It's got, mostly demos. Like, it's got Don't Fear the Reaper demo, and Dance the Night Away demo from Agents of Fortune. It's got Night Flyer, an outtake from the Spectre session. So it's pretty cool, actually, these different versions. I really enjoyed listening to this. There's some live songs on here, too, back from 79 and 80. I Want You, She's So Heavy live, the Beatles cover. It's a good album. I really enjoyed this. Played it twice already. Again, it is a gatefold. Might as well just open it and show it to you for those who didn't pick it up. I'm a big Blue Oyster Cult fan, so it's got some nice photographs and biographical information. There you go. Yeah, it's a nice collection. Gives you a little bit of information about each song, what they were, and why they were recorded, or what they were recorded for. So, very cool collection. So that's what I grabbed from Canterbury Records. Well, from there we went to Rhino Records, and we pulled up to this place near Rhino and saw the line, or it was still around the door to get in the Rhino, and we're like, you know what? Forget it. It's not worth it. We had other things we wanted to do, so we'll go back to Rhino later after the craziness is gone. And so we went to another store that was a friend of Bill's. This store didn't open until 11, so we got there at, I don't know, maybe 10 to 11, and there was a line out front too, but the line was only max 15-20 people. Again, it's a very small store. And we got inside, and there was really only a couple of things I was looking for, and Bill as well. He wanted that Motorhead 7-inch as well. He didn't have it. But I did manage to score a few things. One that I didn't get on the first one because they were just gone. This is Pink Floyd, Piper at the Gates of Dawn reissue, and this thing is just absolutely gorgeous. As you can see, it's got a new cover. I haven't read the story about the new cover yet. I know there's a story behind it. I just haven't read it. So maybe if one of you guys knows the story, you can let me know in the comments below. Regardless, I heard a lot of people missed this album because they were looking for a different cover. They were looking for the original cover. A good friend of mine, Steve, Harmless Rebel, yeah, he just didn't see it because it looks like this, and nobody was looking for that record. So what this basically is, take it out of the sleeve. So here you've got this gold foil stamp cover with the space scene front and back. It's basically an envelope that kind of pops open. Let's see if I can show you how that works. See? And inside is the record, which is made to look identical to the original mono pressing. And I have played this, and it does sound fantastic. It even has that look like it was like the paper's been folded over. That's literally printed on there. It's not real. It's printed on there. It's still really nice. It has the super gloss, which I'm assuming is some sort of UV coating. It's got to be a UV coating. It's not a gloss coat. It's got to be a UV coating on the front only, and the back is matte or flat. It's got a recreation of the original Columbia, or the old Columbia center ring. And again, it's taken from, apparently they had the original master tapes, and that's what this is taken from, and everybody seemed to be looking. I heard that name over and over again. Anybody find the new Pink Floyd? Anybody find the new Pink Floyd? So when we went into the next store, Bill asked while I was standing there, he goes, he's looking for the Pink Floyd. Do you have it? He goes, we only got one in. He says, it's probably already gone, but it was over there. So I went over and looked, and there it still was, so I grabbed it. It also came with a poster, which is cool. So yeah, I mean, that's been on my want list for a while. You know, if I already had it, original pressing of some sort, I probably wouldn't have bothered. But since it was new, I was there. I went ahead and grabbed that when I was, I wanted it, so I grabbed it. The only other thing I grabbed from that store was one from last year, and I don't think it still has a price tag on it, but I think it was actually cheaper because everything was like, the stuff outside of Record Store Day a lot of it was discounted. But I grabbed the Close to the Heart 7-inch single by Rush. They actually had a couple of these, so I grabbed two because I know a friend of mine really wanted one of these and missed out last year. So I grabbed that. B-side is, what is the B-side? I can't remember. Madrigal. So that was a cool find. I grabbed that. Again, it wasn't from this year, but I didn't care. I was there to look for anything. Frankly, the first two stores, we didn't do digging in the regular parts of the store. We just were looking for Record Store Day stuff. So then we took off, did a bunch of stuff during the day, went to a museum, did some other stuff, and later that evening, with our wives, we went out to dinner, and they sat in the restaurant and had a couple of drinks, and while we walked down the street, we went to Rhino Records, which was now nearly empty. And they still had some Record Store Day stuff left over, but at this point, I didn't, other than the Motorhead single, which I still didn't find, I wasn't really looking for any more Record Store Day stuff. So I just started digging, crate digging, and I did find a few gems. First of all, I picked this up, and I've been wanting this for a while. It's a reissue of the first Heir Apparent, Graceful Inheritance. New cover art, which is really nice and fits the music. Just fantastic 80s majestic heavy metal. It's not, I wouldn't call it, pop metal or hair metal or anything. It's galloping heavy metal, like maybe early Fates Warning, that kind of sound, John Ark era Fates Warning. Just really, really good stuff. Maybe even early Queensryche-ish, So yeah, I grabbed that. It was under 20 bucks, surprisingly, because Rhino Records prices for new records are not that cheap anymore. They're all up in the $25, $30 range. But yeah, I grabbed this one. I think it might have been $19, $18.99 or something like that. Not a bad price. That's about their going rate online too, except then you got to pay for shipping. So, and then I did a lot of digging through the 7-inch singles. I grabbed a U.S. pressing of Come Together, Back to Kings and Queens by Aerosmith. And I, believe it or not, don't have this. I do have a couple Come Together singles with different picture sleeves. This is the first time I've ever owned one in the original Columbia sleeve. So that was a cool find. And I think it was $1. I'm almost positive it was $1. And it's in fantastic condition. So, and then I grabbed, this was a really cool, this is Savage Grace. This is their 1983 demos. This came out in Snake Pit magazine, and it was stupid rare. This one, obviously, a little sticker on it says no magazine. Well, I wasn't looking for the magazine. I just wanted the 7-inch single. So it was really cool to find this. It was just sitting in there, and so I grabbed it, and I was stoked to find it. It looks old school. It looks, you know, DIY, and I love that about it. The songs are great. There's actually 4 songs: Into the Fire, No One Left to Blame, Die by the Blade, and Betrayer. What you got here is LA speed metal, heavy metal. I wouldn't call it thrash, although some people would. Melodic vocals, you know, clean singing vocals. You know, somewhere in the area of like Realm or Toxic or Agent Steel and that kind of thing. But maybe a little pushing a little more towards the heavy metal sound than the speed or thrash metal sound. Great stuff. A little raw here. It's demo, but still great to have that 7-inch single. It's been hard to find out of print for years. Last I looked on Discogs, there was a copy on there for like, it was like $75, which I don't know why anybody would pay that for that, but whatever. Jethro Tull War. This is Bungle in the Jungle picture sleeve for $1. Thought that was a cool one, so I grabbed it. And then this one was like, I think $5 or $5.99 or something in that area. But this is Striper, Reason for the Season. Back with the Winter Wonderland. This was their Christmas 7-inch single. I have the 12-inch. Didn't have the 7-inch, so it was a no-brainer for me. It's actually still in the original sleeve. It's in a... Here you go, if I can get it out. It's in there pretty tight. Hang on a second. There we go. So you can see the sticker on there, distributed by Lexicon Distribution, Newbury Park, California. And the original hype sticker, which has since, you know, faded and quite a bit, but still very cool to have. And that's what I picked up for myself. That's it. I picked up some stuff for other people, some 12-inch, a bunch of 7-inches. So I'm just going to show you a few of those 7-inches real quick. And all these are already gone to people that I knew wanted them. So some people are going to say, hey, can you give me that one? And they're already slated to go to somebody, so I can't really give these or trade these to anybody. But this is Bad Company, Rock and Roll Fantasy, picture sleeve, with Crazy Circles on the B-side. This is the Rolling Stones, Miss You, Far Away Eyes, single. This is 2 David Lee Roth singles. This is California Girls and Just a Gigolo. There's 2 singles, 2 different singles. I just put them in the same sleeve. These are both going to the same guy. Actually, they're going to the Headbanging Zulu in the UK, as well as that Rolling Stone single. These 3 are all going to one guy too. I'm not really a big fan of these guys, but I know he is. Bruce Springsteen, I'm going down. Bruce Springsteen, Tunnel of Love. Bruce Springsteen, Glory Days. So these are all going to the same guy. See if you can guess who that is. There's only one guy I know in the VC who loves 7-inch singles and loves Bruce Springsteen. So I'll let you guess who that is. And then finally, for the Metal War God, I was texting back and forth with him as I was digging, and he was texting to me while he was digging, and he said he needed a copy of this, so I grabbed it for him. So you've already seen this one, and I grabbed some other stuff too, but that was basically, you know, what I grabbed during that trip. So that's my vinyl update. That's my story about the record store day, my first ever record store day. Not against them. I know some people hate them. A lot of, you know, hardcore collectors hate them. That's for, you know, young kids who are posers or whatever. I don't care. From when I was talking to some of the record store guys, they were like, this. Matter of fact, when I was in Canterbury Records, it just happened to be the owner that was checking me out, and I said, this is crazy. And he says, yeah. He goes, this one day, he said, this will pay my rent for most of the year. So there you go. I mean, the fact that it helps the record store for the rest of us who go the rest of the year, why complain? You know what I mean? It's keeping Canterbury Records open, and you know what I mean? So what a great thing. So and I grabbed some great stuff while I was there. Anyhow, that's it. I'll stop rambling on and on. Appreciate you all watching. Next video, probably going to do the picture sleeve, the picture disc one. I'm also going to be doing another No Left to Metal update. Thinking about doing another band, you know, discography thing. I just got so many, I can't decide what I want to do next. I was thinking maybe Nasty Savage, or I don't know, maybe Savage Grace. I was also thinking Law's Rocket. Maybe if any of you guys have some suggestions on what you might want to see, leave a suggestion below. So that's it. Thanks for watching. God bless. Stay strong.